Hi everybody, I'm Lacy Schoen. Welcome to Real Women, Real Success. Today we're going to be talking about the fallacy of validation. And what I mean by that is, as women, we're often taught to look for approval from others. And oftentimes what we find as females in the workplace is that we're looking for other people to validate our ideas, or validate that we're ready for that next step, or validate that we're good enough for some other job that we might be interested in. And that is a fallacy, and it's a lesson that was, when I learned it, was so amazing and liberating and interesting and life-changing when I started to understand the fallacy of looking for validation from others, and there's a lot of talk about, ground truth your ideas, test your ideas, or whatever the case may be. But it's dangerous to make that your hallmark for if you should move forward on an idea or something, some strategy that you have come up with that you feel can work. So I want to tell you, I'll tell a little bit about, telling myself a story that, something that I experienced in my career, and that is that 15 years ago or so, I was going through a divorce, and I lived in Lake Arrowhead, followed my ex-husband up to Lake Arrowhead, California, living in the mountains rather than Orange County, where I'm from. And I decided in going through that divorce that I would take a step down from my CEO position of a nonprofit and apply for a job as a department head or a program head, because I wanted to spend the time as a mom, more time with my kids, in a less demanding job, always knowing that I would get back to being a CEO when they graduated from high school. So I got a job with a nonprofit, and the time came for my kids to graduate, and I wanted to get back into that CEO role, and I applied for the CEO position of the particular organization that I was working for. And I knew the organization well. I'd been working for the organization for 5 years. I'd created all kinds of success in the programs that I managed. I'd grown them significantly. And I went into this interview with some of the board of directors, and I left the interview feeling like I tanked. And apparently, in their eyes, I did as well, because they ended up hiring a person that was not only 10 years younger, not necessarily a problem with that, but also a lot less experience under their belt, a lot less leadership under their belt. And I really started to question myself, and I wondered, is it me? Am I not ready for some reason? But I've done this before, and it was so confusing for me. And it was many years later that I looked back on that, and I realized that I was putting the importance in the wrong place, that these people could not understand what I was trying to convey to them in my interview. And the fact that they didn't understand that lack of validation, the fact that they did not validate what I was saying to them, did not mean that my ideas weren't good, that my strategy wasn't good, that I wasn't a top-notch professional. It meant that they couldn't understand my talent and my vision. And it makes tons of sense. At that particular time, those folks were attorneys. I don't understand their job. I certainly couldn't necessarily interview an attorney for their job and understand all of what they were saying either. So I don't expect myself to fully understand someone else's job, and they certainly didn't fully understand what I was saying. So my point to you is, not everybody is going to get your talent and your expertise. It's important that you know your idea and your strategy will succeed. It's important that you validate yourself. So as you're looking to validate your idea, here are some things that you can think about to see if your idea is really solid, and you can validate it yourself. And if you think about times when you've just known you had a great idea, or you've just known you had a great strategy, chances are you've informally, or maybe even formally, thought through these things. So let me go through them now. First of all, the first one is knowing your avatar. And avatar is a word that means a model of your typical customer, or the typical individual or group of people that you serve. Your avatar, it's sort of like the model for who you're serving. And one thing that I've always done, that I'm sure you can do if you haven't already, is really know your avatar well. What are their pains? What are their struggles? What are their goals? What are their joys? What do they need? What do they not need? What do they talk about as frustrating for them? When you really, really know your avatar, and you have an idea that does one of three things for your avatar, you've got a formula for success. And those three things are this. It either adds value to their life, it fills a need, or it alleviates a pain point. If your idea does one of those three things for your avatar, and you feel in your gut, this is number 3, your gut, you feel in your gut that it's just the right way to go, you're set. You validated yourself. You don't need validation from anybody else. And chances are you've thought through this more than anybody else. And have you ever had this experience where you go up to someone and you say, hey, I have this great idea or whatever. You've been thinking about it for months and it falls on them like they're just cardboard, right? They don't respond to it. They don't give you the feedback you were hoping for. Well, you've been thinking about this for months and months and months. The wheels have been turning. You care about it. You probably know better than anybody else. And that's what I want to convey to you today. You don't need the validation of others because very, very rarely do you get it. The question is, do you know that your idea is going to work? Do you know that it's valuable and will bring some sort of substance or some sort of needed commodity to someone else's life or to a group of people's environment? That's how you know. So you've got your idea, and some of you are saying, you know what, it's great what you're saying, Lacy, but I have restrictions upon me. Everything I do has to be run through the boss, or it has to be, I just came out of running a nonprofit in local government. Very, very restrictive, very risk averse, not a place where you throw a bunch of ideas on the wall and see if you can try a few of them, right? Everything has to be vetted through several layers, and there's almost no great idea that comes out of over vetting, okay? So just know that and feel comforted in that. What I would encourage you to do is find an opportunity somehow. Perhaps that means changing your job. Perhaps that means you can't do it in your job right now. You'd like to stay in your job, but maybe it means doing something after hours where you can test yourself or become part of leadership and volunteer in a nonprofit yourself, or do something online. There's so many opportunities online. Look what I'm doing with you right now. I'm taking advantage of an idea that I had about how to support women, and I'm doing it online because that's an opportunity that nobody else can control but me. And it's a medium that you can control for yourself, that you can explore ideas for yourself. And don't be afraid to test things and get to know the market and get to know the people. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm getting to know you and trying to see how I can be of value and how my ideas can be of help to you. So be heartened and realize you don't need the validation of other people to know you're smarter in the areas that you have talents than anybody else around you. And they're not going to see it. They're not going to get it. And when you finally realize that, I know for me, when I finally realized that, it was highly emotional. Because I realized for the first time that I might just possibly, maybe, be good. Maybe I could be great. Maybe I could have a significant impact in the world. And I'm tearing up right now because it was very, very emotional for me to realize my personal value and that others could not give that to me, that it was all up to me, and that in fact, I was smarter than a lot of people in the area where I have talent. And I will say to you, everybody has something to offer. This is my true belief. Everybody in the world has something to offer, but there is nobody that has it all. And we're all so different, and we all have so many different experiences. I want you to know that you are the expert in you, and you are in the expert. If you are 35 to my age, I'm in my 50s, you've had experience. There's things that you know, and utilize those opportunities, whether it's online, at your job, or in another organization, to learn what your strengths are. Because now, for instance, in my career, I'm so blessed because I had someone very close to me nominate me for an award, and I understand I'm being considered for it. And they sent me a questionnaire and they said, tell us your top 5 accomplishments in your career. And I went through it, and it was a great review because I realized my talent is listening to an avatar or a group of people's needs and seeing the path to give it to them before most people do. And what that's eventuated in my career is creating over and over and over new things, new programs, new organizations, growing organizations, creating, I created a vocational college for water professionals. There's so many things that I know I can do because I was able to test my ideas. I've been lucky. I've had a lot of autonomy. My boss was never in my hip pocket in my career, and that has been a tremendous asset. And if you don't have that asset, then somehow you'll have to create those opportunities. If you feel like taking a risk within your environment, I would encourage you to do it, because when you know, when you know your avatar, when you see the path, and when your gut tells you this will work, then you're probably right. And you don't need the validation of other people to go for that idea, get that job, or to say that you are who you need to be to go to the next level. You know, and that's all that matters. So let's say you've experimented with an idea and you had huge success. Here's something that you may experience that proves to you the fallacy of validation. And some of you have been a little bit longer in your careers, may have experienced this already. I have experienced where I have a significant success and people come back and they say, you know what? I just knew you were going to succeed at that. I always knew that you were going to be great and that you were going to do a great job at this. And now I'm really impressed. But what's so interesting when someone comes and says that to you is that they often weren't the people that believed in you when you were just vetting your idea. I've had friends, I've had colleagues, I'll throw out an idea and then, I just don't know if that could really work after you've really done your homework. And then you succeed, and those are the very same people that always knew you were going to succeed. And you kind of end up wondering, well, where were you when I was just starting out, just starting to vet this idea and saying that it was going to work? Everybody wants to be associated with success, right? So once you're successful, everybody's going to validate your idea. But it's when you're embarking upon the strategy or the idea or the new endeavor that you have to validate for yourself. And we've talked about how to do that. So expect those people to come out of the woodwork who just knew you were going to succeed, and then they'll validate you after you've been very apparently successful. So I hope that's helpful for you today. Please realize that others' validation of you is a fallacy. What's important is that you take steps to validate and feel good about yourself. And when you know you have a great idea and it's based on all the right metrics that I mentioned earlier, those 3 things, then it's a good idea. And find a way to pursue it, because you know what? The world needs you. The world needs us. The world needs women's skill sets in the world today, and they need your ideas to solve problems and bring value to the world. So I hope that's helpful. I'm glad you could visit with me today. Go out there and have a great week. I'm your biggest fan, and I'll see you next time. Hi everybody, it's Lacy, Real Women, Real Success. This is a quick update just to let you know about some things going on. Many of you know that March 8th was International Women's Day. On that day, I took the pledge to support other women, but also sponsor other women. I hope that you will make that pledge too. That is what Real Women, Real Success is all about. I also want to let you know that I launched my website last month. I think some of you know about that. I am putting new resources on it each and every day. One of the things I want to point out to you is my update that I put on the site this week under the lighter side tab. This is the place, this is the area for you to laugh, for you to take some downtime and really get a kick out of some of the follies we have to deal with as women, as professionals in the world. I just uploaded a couple of videos that pertain to subject matter prior videos, serious videos that I did on apologizing and on women competing. They're funny videos. I hope you'll have a look. The other thing I want to make sure you continue to keep on your radar is that the Women's Empowerment Conference is coming to the Disneyland Resort. I hope that you will sign up and go to that. I am registered to go. I'm a sponsor of the conference actually, and I'm going to be getting a small group of Real Women, Real Success VIP E-Club members together, and I hope that you will let me know. Email me. I'm going to give you my email at the end of this video. Email me if you're going, and then we'll set up a meetup time and meet each other, chat a little bit, and then I'll have a free gift for you when I see you there. That's April 21st and 22nd, Disneyland Resort. You can sign up, register for the conference at CA Women Lead, cawomenlead.org. I also want to let you know I'm going to be participating in a women's conference online. It is going to be a series of 30-minute interviews with different women from around the world. The woman putting this together is from Northern Ireland. Her name is Patricia Daly. I'll be sending out more information to my VIP Women's Club, and if you're not part of that, you can get information on how to join down below. And that is going to be airing on the internet March 17th to March 27th. My interview will be a half hour, and it talks about all the 5 strengths that all women are born with that you can leverage for your success. I'll hope you'll tune into that. That is also the subject matter of the chapter I wrote in the book Keys to Conscious Business Growth. That book was launched and available for purchase in February on Amazon.com. It became a bestseller. Yay! Thank you to all those of you who made that happen. I don't get any money from the book sales, but it's exciting to know the message is getting out. And that was also a topic of my chapter, one of 20 chapters, all about the 5 strengths that women are born with, that are innate in our DNA, that we can leverage to build higher levels of success for ourselves. So I hope you'll check that out and buy the book. You can get it on Amazon.com, Keys to Conscious Business Growth. Lastly, I just want you to know that I want your feedback, I want your comments and suggestions, and I want to know what is going on for you in your life professionally that you could use help with, or just that you may want to talk about. Reach out and talk to me. My email is lacy@lacyschoen.com. That's lacy@lacyschoen.com, LACYSCHOEN.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.